we have to go to the World Cup qualifiers. It's hotting up, isn't it? Isn't it, Jim Campbell?
It's scotting up.
Liking your work. Scotland 2, Belarus 1. Scotland clung on to beat Belarus. I say clung on. It was a very uninspiring performance. I suppose it was a bit of a nervy ending with the late goal from Belarus. Scotland are now guaranteed at least a playoff spot, but it wasn't a good performance.
No.
Clarke was damning after the game, and there were some boos at full time.
Yeah, I think the thing to perhaps acknowledge out of the gate, though, is that in previous qualifying campaigns, Scotland have managed to balls up games like this, maybe draw it or even lose it. And they did get it over the line. So I think that obviously has to be acknowledged. But it was a really... to call the performance workmanlike isn't even quite right, is it? It's like someone like a drunk workman who isn't qualified for the job, just turning up and making an absolute arse of it, where it's something that should be quite simple. It was a confusing performance, and I guess that's the fear, isn't it? That they've got a trip to Athens, which will obviously be trickier, or in theory should be trickier than Belarus at home, and they host Denmark as well. And based on this performance, those are going to be tough games. Now, obviously, they got the job done against Greece on Friday, so that's fine.
And Greece are cooked as well, so they can't qualify, so maybe they'll just relax. Or maybe they'll have a point to prove.
Quite possibly, yeah. But I know what you mean. In theory, that goes in their favour, because if Greece
needed that,
if Greece have got a chance to finish second, I think that's a spicier encounter. I still think it'll be a tough game, as Jim says, but you're right to make that point, Peter.
I think they'll definitely try and put one on Scotland, and I think the game against Belarus showed a great difference between being a defensive-minded team and playing well defensively, because it felt like they were really passive when they didn't have the ball, which is why Belarus were able to play through them.
Clarke made that point. He said without the ball, they would lack cohesion.
But I don't really know what it is, because they've just about worked out how to be a lot more engaging going forward. Like the fact that Gilmour started yesterday was, Clarke even said before the game that it's a clear point that he wants him to have the ball, use the ball, and he did that brilliantly. Like Gavin Doak was brilliant on the right as well. Basically spamming the same step over and shift right. You'd think they would have clocked onto it, but they didn't, which is fine. And so going forward with the ball, they were much better, if a bit wasteful. And then without it, they were like, it wasn't. You can't really describe it as arrogance, because they will. All those players have in their recent history been fucked over by late goals and things like that. But there was an element of they just wouldn't press, would they? And for that reason, Belarus were able to get through and get more confident with each kind of speculative attack.
They had freedom to roam. Every
really
time
odd.
they were on the ball, it just felt like there was so little resistance.
Why do you think that was, Vish? I mean, I understand you weren't at the match in Hampden, but so obviously you get a bit more of a feel of it, of course, if you're there. I mean, Clarke refused to believe it was nerves.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was almost laziness to a point.
Do you think because it was they'd done a lot of hard work? Point in Denmark was probably their toughest game. They're beating Greece at home. They're thinking, it's just Belarus. But I don't know. I mean, Clarke himself described the performance as a bit of a head scratcher. And I suppose we're all in that in agreement with him, because was it nerves? Are you thinking, oh blimey, don't stuff this up. This is a bit of a gimme at home to Belarus, Jim. The two tougher games are coming. Do you think maybe it was a bit of a coasting of we should be okay?
I think coasting more than nerves makes sense based on the performance, for sure. Yeah, because I think you're right, aren't they? There was a sense they've done the hard work there. The idea was to get 6 points from these two games. The Greece game is much harder, and they had to dig deep to get it. They've come from behind. You expend a lot of energy that way. This one, I suppose, almost felt like the one they're expected to win, so maybe they can go out there and enjoy it a little bit, and they'll have a lot of space and a lot of freedom. And I don't know. I mean, you can only speculate on why the game went in the way it did, but it felt like actually it was Belarus who had all the space and had all the freedom, and it is kind of confusing to me as to why Scotland weren't just a bit more robust in their press and just a little bit more dominant. They're strong players, they're good players. There is absolutely no reason for them to have been like that off the ball. It's really odd.
Celebrating. It was celebrating after their last match, I think. Yeah. I mean, you look at a player like Jack Hendry, who's obviously, of advancing years now. He hasn't got that many caps and stuff, but he was probably one of Scotland's better players. And he was a 7 out of 10. It was just a real... It wasn't quite a canter, but it was just a bit like... It felt a bit after the Lord Mayor Show, like the hard work you felt had been done against Greece, and then this one was just like, we should be fine, but
Well,
And they were.
You do
And there's
get,
horse shit everywhere.
you do get these performances, I suppose. I mean, England when they beat Andorra 1-0 away, and there's that moment when Andorra broke through, and you're thinking, why am I
Why
nervous?
are we in this
Why is it in the
position?
last
Yeah.
minute? So I understand that's obviously in sort of micro in England. But you do get these performances. I suppose under Clarke, I mean, it was his 72nd game in charge, which is a record-breaking number, of course, for a Scotland manager. We've become conditioned to think, well, Scotland put these games away. But of course, Vish, before Clarke came along, as Jim mentioned earlier, there was probably stuffed this one up. They'd have probably drawn it. I mean, you look at these two games against Greece, where there's a bit of jeopardy, and obviously they score and they sort of fairly late on to put the game away. Pre-Steve Clarke, they would have dropped 2 points, anywhere between 2 and 6 points in these two games.
They'd be already out of World Cup qualifying. They would have already been out of qualifying for the World Cup, and their single would have been released today. Is what you're saying. But that's the thing.
And I appreciate they haven't qualified for the World Cup.
No.
So,
but they're in
the Euros twice.
They're in a great position.
They are.
Because even if they finish in that playoff spot, they're in pot 2. They got a home semi-final, and then obviously 2 legs for that final push to move to the World Cup. But yeah, like going into this game, all of the conversations publicly anyway from the players and from Clarke himself was like, we are not taking anything for granted.
Yeah.
And even before Clarke gave his post-match press conference, McTominay on the field talked about how he was clearly very annoyed, in part with his own performance really as well. He did score, but he probably had 2 games in a row where he's not really affected it in the way that you would expect him to. And I suppose, beyond being a bit passive in defence, there was also, there were moments in attack where they could have given more. I think the problem actually, which is sort of not tactical because it's got them in this position in the qualifying, but the number of times they break through out wide and there is only ever one person in the box. Yeah. And that's not always Che Adams because of how Che Adams plays. Mm-hmm. And I suppose there were a couple of times where they came to nothing. Gannon Doak got criticised a couple of times for, being, I suppose, a bit too naive, say, upon cutting inside onto his left foot when when he should have crossed it. But it's like there was no one in the box to cross it to. So like he just has to keep hold of the ball. That being said, Che Adams did score a fucking lovely goal.
It was a lovely goal.
Which was ruined by the offside call.
Yeah.
But I don't
maybe
think
maybe that goal going in after 15 minutes, fairly early on-ish. Again, that perhaps informs the game as well.
Yeah.
Where you think, okay, that's, maybe job done.
I thought the best Scotland were the 10 minutes after half-time.
Well, was that because of Steve Clarke apparently going mental at half-time in the dressing room? John McGinn said after the game, half-time was the wildest I've seen Steve Clarke in 72 games.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, Clarke himself said after the game, it's possibly as disappointed as I've been here over the whole 72 games he's been in charge. We just didn't turn up.
Do you think, so like, given where they are in qualifying and they're in a great spot, they could still win the group, do you think when he said that, a few players in the dressing room were like, Clarke, I've got a couple of others. definitely been worse than this, mate.
I wonder if, again, you look at how tight the group is. If Scotland beat Greece and you would expect Denmark to beat Belarus in their game, then it's kind of winner takes all at Hampden. But then it would go down to goal difference if it was a draw.
And the Danes have a much better goal.
And they're ahead. Scotland, it is incredibly unlikely Scotland are going to score. I mean, there's 6 goals in the goal difference.
I'm sure
Denmark would surely beat Belarus.
Munch that up very easily.
Well, you think Scott McTominay scores 7 in Athens or something?
They're in a great position, though.
They are in a good position.
They can basically manage to get to a stage where it is winner takes all. In that final game against Denmark,
which is at Hampden.
Yeah.
And
which
2 years
is
ago when they couldn't score a goal for Toffee, this is a great position for them to be in.
Yeah, look, I'm just wondering if that was kind of playing in his mind. But to be fair, though, even if they'd have won by, say, 3 or 4 goals, I think, again, with the fixtures as they are, it would have been unlikely if they would, I think one would expect a point for Denmark at Hampden in that final game would be enough for the Danes to top the group. Yeah. But as you've already mentioned, Vish, even if they're in the playoff rounds, I know that's not what they want. There's still a chance. But it would be a mouth-watering prospect of a winner-takes-all game.
And let's hope we get to that. Based on the performance, Marcus, are you starting to doubt Scotland's ability to win the World Cup?
Yeah, I think it's early days, Jim. Mm-hmm. I've not gone full Ali McLeod 1978 just yet.
Okay.
But who knows?
Well, look, football is powered by documentaries now, isn't it? So narrative and documentary. So
all or nothing.
Well, it would just be a great story. So therefore, Scotland will win it.
I can already envisage a situation where the Scotland team boycott next year's Ballon d'Or.
Yes.
Because World Cup winner Scott McTominay is unlikely to finish in the top 2.
One man who would be delighted, though, Scotland went there and won the final in North America, of course. The man with the Scottish mother, Donald Trump.
Right, yeah. And a lot of Scottish business interests, yeah.
Yeah, you can boogie woogie. That'll be what he's saying. Right. Well, as you say, Scotland, a couple of important games next.
You don't do that impression as much anymore, do you?
No. Do I not? I can give it a go if you want. I thought that deserved better. Denmark.
I mean, it's one of your worst Donald Trumps you've ever done. Yeah. I sound like he's been smoking 50 a day.
Well, has he not?
True, actually. He's on so many more pills now. He's feeling a lot better.
Well, do I need to go more gravelly or less gravelly?
Less gravelly.
More whispery. He's become
we got Scotland turning up here. They're going to be great.
He's become very whispery.
He's very whispery.
Yeah.
Okay, Scotland here. They're going to be great.
They're brilliant.
Thank you.
Better.
Right.
That is... I'd have probably guessed Al Capone.
Yeah, I was going Brando there.
Okay.
Late Brando.
Well, anybody fancy?
Well, write these down because you can add them to the list.
Yeah.
Can't you?
Right, up yours, everybody. Denmark beat Greece 3-1. Rasmus Højlund scored the opening goal. All right. What do you think of that, Vish?
Yeah. Was that an impression of Marcus Speller, the horse of the football ramble?
That was you wanting to tell us off, but using the words that were written down in front of you in the running order.
It was a dig at Manchester United.
It was a dig at Manchester
I know
United.
because you rated everything that he did last season, didn't you?
Well, Denmark manager Brian Riemer couldn't help having a dig at Manchester United. He said with regard to Højlund playing well at Napoli, the fact that he is now on a well-functioning team and has players around him who take pride in doing good for others helps to make the outcome for a striker like Rasmus, who needs to be serviced. It's like,
not the best choice of words there at the end. But
in the shadow.
The thing is, it's like it's not unreasonable, is it?
No.
Is it like it might not actually be a deliberate dig.
Well, no,
it's just
it's a
very
statement
sort
of fact, isn't it?
objective, assessment of the whole thing.
2 from 4 goals, 2 from 4 matches in Napoli, and I think he scored 4 in qualifying this time round.
He's doing very well,
very good.
and he's an asset to all the teams he's currently playing for.
You can't. I mean, you say that like I don't wish him well. How dare you leave this sinking ship?
Oh, you've changed the tune.
I mean, you're probably still paying some of his wages, right? Is that
Almost
some
certainly,
consolation?
yeah.
I would say
Yeah.
so.
Probably a little bit, yeah.
Now, Vish, something that does directly concern you. We got a tweet here on X from C. Mull, who said, "I can't believe Vish didn't name Caledonian Girls as a Scottish Katy Perry song."
Yeah, a bit of an awkward
For California girls, yeah.
Yeah.
A couple of people messaged me this, and I was like, "Oh no, fair play." And then a few more did over the weekend. It's like, brilliant, mate. What do you want me to do?
Go back and change it, edit it.
I thought, baby, you're a five work. Doesn't really work.
Five work.
Five work. It written down. I think that joke works.
You do. You work
fire and five. You just
I feel like the
changing
problem was
one
he didn't
letter.
write it down.
Yeah, I think
Would have helped.
Yeah, up yours again. Yeah. Now, Pete, you were wondering if Orlando Bloom was still dating Katy Perry.
Yeah, I was wondering hard actually.
It seems that she's now dating former Canada Prime Minister Justin Trudeau.
I knew that, and yet I didn't. I don't know what. It was a big story a few weeks ago, wasn't it? But you know what the world's like. There's just a lot of news stories kicking around, new things happening all the time.
And a lot of them are about Katy Perry. Like she was in space a little while ago.
Yeah.
Was she really?
She's in space now. She's gone out with Justin Trudeau.
Fair play. Former head of state and a person of colour.
Good, very good.
At times.
At times.
When he wants to be.
When he wants to be, yeah.
Not for a while, but yeah.
We've all done it.
We have not all done it. I
We've
want to make
all
that very
done it.
clear.
Can I categorically say
Yeah.
No, I've never done it. Don't even bother looking. That's what I say.
Yeah.
yeah. Please don't look.
Please don't look.
Halloween's coming up.
Halloween is coming up. Can't wait.
Oh,
Can't wait.
That was the Babadook.
Back to qualification for the World Cup. Faroe Islands beat the Czech Republic or Czechia 2-1.
What? I mean,
This
was
is unbelievable.
Did you see the first goal?
Oh,
Beauty.
so good.
Beauty.
Have they space jammed someone?
Must be.
that second one was a gift.
Yeah,
Bit of a
it
gift,
was, yeah.
but-
And it was taken like it's a gift that they rarely receive. The
Yeah,
panic,
they were like, ah!
God, punt it in the goal. But the first goal was lovely.
Lovely move. The reverse pass.
Yeah.
Lovely
Oh.
assist. And the way he just opens the body and strokes it into the net is easy peasy.
We should always remember, and I say that having just said what I said, that these are footballers.
Yep.
First and foremost,
Sure.
they have played the sport before.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, but they've played it in a certain way, which
Yes,
has
100%.
ensured they are ranked 136 in the world.
And we've also played enough football between ourselves to know how hard football actually is.
Yeah.
So it's, I think it's still reasonable to be surprised by that.
Well, they've only won 2 games at most in qualification groups because they're not they are a minnow, but they're not often the minnow in the group. So, for example, they've got Gibraltar in there, so they often get a win or 2 against those kind of sides, as they have done this time. But they've won 4 games this time. Of course, they beat Montenegro 4-0 on Thursday night. Now, I know Montenegro, because of the size of the population and all that, they will have periods where they'll largely be not a particularly great side. And then you might have a bit of a generation where you maybe trying to get a playoff place, that kind of stuff. We remember when they held England, probably, was it a couple of times? Certainly England drew with them in Montenegro previously. The sort of annoying thing about this, though, is the Faroe Islands they're 1 point behind Czechia in as they go into the final round of games, vying for that second place. But the Faroes go away to Croatia and Czechia play Gibraltar. Yeah. So it's highly unlikely that they're going to do it, which is a bit of a shame. And also, when you look back at the results in this qualification group, they lost 1-0 away in Montenegro to a 96th minute winner. And it's just
If
that hadn't happened, it was just so annoying.
Jean Simon Edmondson, the record caps holder for Faroe Islands, he's at 96 at the moment. Imagine getting your 100th. In the World Cup.
I mean, again, highly unlikely. But Peter, going into the last round of games, the fact is they were still alive for World Cup qualification is quite remarkable.
And scenes of amazing celebration when they got the winner. Martin Agnesson, the scorer, looks like Producer Charlie if his dad was David Moyes. If you don't know, it's Producer Charlie, just fleshing out the...
Nobody knows what Charlie looks like.
Well, Charlie and Charlie's dad presumably do, and we all do. So I'm just fleshing out the world for the people. We used to have a Lord Ramble. Let's have a Producer Charlie.
There you go. Well, we often mention him.
We do.
And he's been, and I will use the word accused of being...
Whoa.
No, Luke Moore's younger brother.
Right, okay, yeah.
I mean, that is an accusation, isn't it?
Policeman trainee, Charlie.
Exactly, yeah. So good luck to the Faroes, and we hope a miracle happens and they can get into those playoff rounds. Now then, gentlemen, staying with Nordic sides, Norway thrashed Israel 5-0 over the weekend to take a huge step towards the World Cup. And if you look at these groups, with Norway in particular, you would think, well, a team who have won 6 out of 6, who have scored 29 goals and only conceded 3, 18 points, goal difference of 26. Oh, they're serial qualifiers. Well, again, they haven't qualified for a major tournament since the year 2000. They haven't qualified, like Scotland, since the 1998 World Cup.
That feels like a lie.
It does, Peter.
They both
right
feel
now,
like a lie.
But this is the thing. If you have Erling Haaland in your side, it does make you a lot better.
Make it a little easier.
It does, right? And one of the great things about this, and which I think will be fascinating at the World Cup, is we all know that international football is a bit more of a kind of simple beast than its kind of club counterpart. So obviously the reasons for that are quite straightforward as well. You have less time on the training ground, etc., and so on. So actually, it's quite straightforward, right? The task is get it up to that big monster up there.
Yes.
And the brilliant thing as well is they're not a one-man team. There's talent elsewhere. So like there are facilitators to get it up to that big monster up there. And we're seeing that play out. Often these things, they look like they're working this way on paper and they don't in practice, but they are absolutely tearing it up. And it is, I can't wait to see them at the World Cup.
Norway have not only got Erling Haaland, they've got Kaleli on goal and Nakamias on goal as well. So they've got them. They've got them to look to as well.
Those are just Erling Haaland stop hitting yourself goals, though, aren't they? Like Norway's third in particular. The own goal happened because the guy was so frightened of Haaland breathing down his neck.
He's bearing down on me. I mean, the Sorloth who plays for Atletico Madrid, he's
Oscar Bob as well.
Talking of monsters, Sorloth himself is a big boy. And any other time throughout most of history, he would be their starting striker.
Yeah, we said this with Lars on the mailbag the other day, didn't we? About Morgan Strand Larsen as well. Like he's extremely unlucky.
But with Sorloth, though,
he's at least starting those Sorloth.
Well, Lars said that he's playing out on the wing and is very much saying, okay, I'm a good striker. I'm playing for Atletico Madrid. This is, not many Norwegians reach this. I have to sort of go, all right, there's another bigger beast.
I'll do the doggies then.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But he's in the team, and when you have one monster feeding another monster,
give him pens.
Give him pens. Well, now maybe there's a thing.
Give him pens.
Because Haaland obviously missed the penalty. It was retaken, then he missed again. So is going, come on, surely.
Come on, give me the pens.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
He
yeah.
doesn't need the pens as well.
He scored 12 in qualification, does Haaland. That's double anyone else.
His 21st goal of the season for club and country scored in this match.
Middle of October.
I mean, it's incredible, isn't it? Normally, what happens with a striker who plays for one of the less fancied nations, you think, it's obviously great, but he doesn't have the amount of international goals as he might have done because maybe he's not getting the service.
Lewandowski,
51 goals in 46 appearances for Norway.
Absolutely mad.
51 international goals at the age of 25.
But they're a really tidy team. We listed that front line, Sander Berger as well. The fact that Ødegaard's not even there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, they are going to qualify. It's as simple as that. And they're going to be in North America, and they're going to be going for gold.
I mean, they are our generation's, this generation's Belgium. Do you know what I mean? The sense that when Belgium first had this kind of crop of players that seemed to come out of nowhere, they were sort of the really exciting hipster choice, and I can't wait to get on board with that.
Yeah,
Belgium took a few tournaments. Beer, I reckon.
Yeah, Belgium took a few tournaments and a few managers to kind of get it. And I think the 2018 World Cup, as I've often argued before, they did. They were just edged by France. Norway, it seems. It's as you said earlier. It's kind of like there is. I'm sure they've got a few different ways, but there's just such an obvious thing that they've got to do.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's not a sort of a selection headache really for the manager.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they'll be a force. Norway's great performance in the group, of course, does mean that Italy are facing another playoff to qualify for the World Cup. That'll teach you for beating us at home
exactly.
in the Euros.
They've missed out on the last two World Cups as well, so this is the last thing they want.
Yeah, no, we definitely have had the last laugh.
Yeah,
absolutely.
There's probably a culture ramble, still lauding it up about that one win in 2021. Embarrassing.
Yeah, I know. Gentlemen, before we go for a break, I've got to mention the rep of Ireland. Heartbreak for them in Portugal.
Yes.
They came so close to holding Portugal to a draw in Lisbon, but Ruben Neves scored a header in the 91st minute. The most enjoyable moment of the game, I think, for everybody concerned, other than a certain Portuguese, was Kelleher saving Cristiano Ronaldo's penalty 15 minutes from time.
Yeah. With his foot in midair, which is brilliant.
It was a flick. And he celebrated. He enjoyed it.
He really did.
Cristiano Ronaldo seemed a bit annoyed that Kelleher had the audacity to celebrate saving that penalty.
Well, he's the first £1 billion footballer, isn't he? So
is he really?
He's probably got. He's probably thought I've had a hell of a week. I've been declared the first £1 billion footballer.
Yeah.
Now I've got to deal with this now.
Do you mean he's a billionaire, or is there some valuation
I don't think,
him?
I think it's he has made and will make over his career £1 billion. I think that's
all of his assets together.
All of his assets together. Yeah.
Ireland need to beat Armenia in Dublin on Tuesday to have any hope really of qualifying. They're bottom of the group, and it's not looking good for them. But there's still a chance. All right, coming up after this, Big Ange has Big Sean breathing down his neck.
This episode is sponsored by Etsy, where you can discover original items from small shops. If you're into football merchandise, we're talking vintage kits, personalised scarves, or even artwork of your club's best moments, well, Etsy's got loads of original items that you're going to love that don't feel mass-produced or generic, stuff that everyone has. Etsy has way more than just football finds, though. Etsy is a marketplace of small businesses with real people behind the shops that sell everything from handcrafted furniture to hand-picked light fixings to vintage clothing and personalised accessories. Shop the Etsy app. Special starts on Etsy.
You were given a yellow card. What happened when you went over to the Southampton bench?
I deserved the yellow card because I was rude, but I was rude with an idiot.
Welcome back to the Football Ramble, everybody. One of his best runs, that was Jose Mourinho after getting a yellow card from Mikey Dean.
I think the Red's on the way.
Well, thanks to friend of the Ramble, Tej, for sending us that clip on Discord. He said, this is Vish after trash-talking everyone when he wins.
Not in a game, just when he wins, generally.
Yeah.
You win a lot, Vish, it's
Not
fair
enough.
to say.
You win again.
Not enough.
Not
you
enough.
see,
Not enough.
The heart of a winner. Never satisfied. Oh, Cristiano Ronaldo at the end of the table.
Don't do that.
What?
I go to the US all the time.
You can be...
And he might be on his way there as well.
He'll be welcome with open arms. Let's be quite clear about that.
Yeah, it's a good differentiation.
Anyway, you can become a friend of the Ramble too for just $5 a month. Search patreon.com/Football Ramble to get involved. Now then, I don't know what kind of news this is.
It's
if you're
news.
a Nottingham Forest fan. So Nottingham Forest are reportedly considering Sean Dyche as a replacement for Ange Postecoglou should they decide to get rid of him.
What a tailspin.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, indeed, Jim, but Postecoglou, it's not really working out. I don't think any Forest fans would be unhappy if Ange left. I mean, you heard the chants at the end of the Michelin game and so on and so forth.
But they're obviously a fan of the gravelly voice.
Yes.
They're like, we'll keep that. How do we keep
that, yeah.
that?
So who better than the man who lives close to Nottingham, who we know has been in the Hooters in Nottingham?
Who we know was a youth team player
Yes.
at Nottingham Forest.
Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
And not only Sean Dyche, you get Ian Wone and Steve Stone as part of the backroom staff,
Yeah.
Wone and
which
Stone
is
connection.
sort of Forest heritage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that it will be a universally popular opinion that, or appointment rather, that everyone is thrilled with. It is a confusing one, isn't it? Because they're in the Europa League, yet they're looking over their shoulders thinking this could also be a relegation battle, which is a pretty mad situation to be in October.
Yeah.
And obviously it comes from the kind of scattergun management or mismanagement of Marinakis. So it's of course they're in a ridiculous situation. And it also feels like the success they had was kind of by accident as well, doesn't it? It's just like he happened to get the right collection of elements together that thrived for a bit, and now his kind of
Now this
mad
is the,
approach to things
This is the place where our favourite and best England player at the moment is plying his trade, having to deal with.
Well, hopefully Elliot Anderson will have a sort of a Morgan Rogers-esque sort of time of it. It doesn't matter
Right.
what's going on at club level.
Yes.
It
Just
turns
have a
up at
good
Old
time,
England,
yeah.
which was the reverse. It used to be the reverse back in the day, of course.
Yeah.
But Peter, Nuno obviously works wonders there. The start of the season, you're thinking to yourself, they have a chance to win the
kick on,
Europa
yeah.
League.
Yeah,
They've
they've got a big squad.
Yeah.
They've got resources. They've
Yep.
got a new European adventure that the fans are all going to love.
all that.
All that.
And now it's
Just
like
loves a medal. Peter, like Germans just love a medal, don't they?
They
They
do,
love
but-
they love a mix and a blend.
But now, Peter, it's a case of do we need Sean Dyche
Do we
to
need
come in
Sean
and
Dyche?
sort this out?
I mean, they said like the big
a month or two is a long time in football.
the big feather in his cap, the big factor that they're considering inexplicably, briefing press on back channels.
is what I love about it.
Why
Why do we know about this?
it? Why do we know about this? You wouldn't have to pay any compensation because he's a free agent at the moment in time. But
we can get Dyche on the cheap, lads.
It's the relationship equivalent of going out with someone because they've got a car. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like oh, what a bonus.
Or indeed, they're just available.
They're
Like,
just
it
available. You'll do.
Oi.
It's the you'll do of managerial appointments.
He's up for it. She's up for it.
They're in Europe. They're in Europe.
I know.
It suggests to me that the reason we know about this is that Marinakis is just having phone calls about this, like in front of Postecoglou. Just like absolutely.
In Greek as
Is it-
well, so
yeah.
only they can hear it.
Is this a canvassing of opinion, Vish, that we see politicians do? Oh, yeah, we may go for that policy. Ooh, yeah, that was very unpopular. We won't do that.
No, well, I think it's more by necessity, isn't it? I think the fact that Dyche's name has come out is maybe it's not all that surprising because his people, his agent, are more likely to talk because the other, I suppose, like Graham Potter is out there. I'm not saying they've talked to him. I mean, I've not certainly read that, but a lot of the managers who they might be trying to go after, like Marcus Silva was mentioned as well. But,
I think he's a long-term target.
yeah, sure, but they might have reached out to his advisors. And it's not in his advisor's interest to have that information out there, whereas it is for someone like Dyche.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it's strange. It feels like, because they're not even actually in that situation at the moment, really, are they? Like, I appreciate they are 17th, but it's only been 7 games of the season. And it's like they're trying to hire for a position they might be in rather for the squad they have right now.
Well, when you say
Dress for the job you want, a relegation battle.
Yeah.
but when you say they're hiring for a position they might be in, well, the position they're in now is their Europa League status could be gone in a couple of games, which would be a crying shame.
Yeah, sure. But then
I
like,
understand
Dyche
that-
isn't going to remedy that.
Yeah, well,
is
but
he?
this is it.
Yeah.
I find that. I mean, what do you do? Yeah, okay, fine. I get the whole competition thing. It's unlikely that a manager, say Marcus Silva, would want to go there right now. I would have thought. I think it'd be a very strange thing to do.
Yeah.
And obviously that would cost them a few quid. I would imagine. But I just, you're right with Sean Dyche. His, again, he played his part at Everton. I think that it was right to kind of move him on, and they're better off with Moyes. But under certain circumstances, what he did there, I think, was pretty admirable. To be fair to Dyche, and what he did under Burnley and so on. But he is the type of manager who you think he'll almost certainly be a lower end Premier League manager or an upper end Championship manager, which is, again, that's an achievement. That's taking nothing away from him.
And also, we should probably qualify that and say that we are purely talking about him based on what he's done in the Premier League.
Yes,
which is not unreasonable for us to say.
Totally,
but we're not saying he's just limited or he's intellectually a bit stunted because
look, he likes going to Hooters.
Well, not that.
Oh,
apparently they do good wings.
Right.
But we're not saying that like
the wings.
He couldn't get in the top half. It's more than like he's just never really had the opportunity.
Exactly.
Beyond the first season with Burnley where he's done that.
Totally.
Yeah,
and Forest are a club who, having just missed out on Champions League Champions League positions last season, Jim, are looking up the table. They're in the Europa League. They're a club who quite clearly have ambitions because of what happened last season, as unlikely as it was. So it does feel like, we're completely going back to like when we first went up under Cooper. Let's just sort of cling on to what we've got. And I think for the fans, having had that season last season in the Europa League, it's disappointing.
Massively. I think, to put a positive spin on it, though, there is... I think there's a strong argument that this would be the strongest squad that Sean Dyche has ever had in the Premier League. So that's so that's something. But it does seem like a huge gamble that he would be the guy to manage to maintain the kind of forward momentum that they've had in the last season. And I think you're right. This disappointment, possibly again because it is just out of necessity, feels like they're throwing in the towel on that. It's just like we've made such a mess of this that we just have to prioritise our safety rather than our ambition.
Marcus, you love a 90s reference. Are we forgetting the Paul Reiser, Greg Evergan vehicle, My Two Dads? Let's have a manager for the Europe fixtures, manager for the league fixtures. Let's keep Forest in the league. Let's get Forest the European competition.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Maybe Stone and One can take it in Europe.
Exactly.
I actually think that's not a bad idea.
I don't think legally. I think legally you could do it. They do it at Newcastle, but they happen to be doing the same fixture.
Dyche for the Premier League. Ange for the Europa League.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
But that's the problem, though, Jim, is that loss against Midtjylland and what they've shown is Ange's Europa League prowess seems to have left him.
Sure.
So
make them fight, and at the end of the season, they get one person gets the main job.
It's not like
it's not to say one of them gets to mate with Maradakis.
Yeah,
cut the team in half, and whoever objects,
yes,
they're the real
true
manager. Yeah,
there we are.
It's not really Europa League expertise, though, is it? It is purely a guy who came into a situation because the manager everyone liked and everyone had been listening to for quite a long time decided to got flicked off. Through the whims of a chairman who, I don't know,
the sporting director or whatever Edu's position is. They weren't sort of clicking.
Yeah, and then Maradakis made a choice and sided with him, which is fine. But it's not. It won't necessarily end with Dyche. If I were Sean Dyche, I would look at that and be like, "That's a really good squad. That is a historied club, and certainly a club that's close to his heart." And house. But he must look at Maradakis and be like, if I can squeeze a decent compensation out of this, maybe it's worth it to show people that I can work with those kind of players.
Even to the end of the season.
Yeah. Or do I want the stress of constantly looking at my shoulder every week and wondering how this bloke wakes up in the morning?
I think with Sean Dyche, you're right. You've got to look at the 3 H's and you get a tick of all 3. Heart, house, Hooters, bang.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, in other managerial
news... Sounds like
news,
somebody wants to go to Hooters. A lot of chat about Hooters today.
Well, we know it's a good one because our David Cartledge has been there. He was very forthcoming with that information.
I think it closed down, or there's another one opening up somewhere. I think it may have closed down.
Oh, I think
no,
it may
have
it's
still going.
Still going?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
When I went there, it was closed.
Well, it's closed down.
Yeah.
Wouldn't let me in.
It has to close sometime, Pete.
My picture was on the wall.
Now, speaking of the managerial merry-go-round, Steven Gerrard has apparently turned down a chance to go back to Rangers. He was holding talks with Rangers last week and he was keen to return at some point, but it's believed that the timing wasn't right for him at this stage because they are pretty shit at the moment and there's no league title campaign to be had, is I think, what's being insinuated there.
I wanted that video clip of him in the dressing room and turning around and seeing a picture of the Charles.
Or be the king now, wouldn't it?
The king,
Would be the king, yeah.
Could recreate it.
How much of that do you think is, I can't be the incumbent Rangers manager if Hearts win the league.
Yeah, fair.
I can't have that against me.
And do you not think that a lot of it is kind of like, that was good for me, I don't need to go back to change that. That door is closed now. I don't need to kind of. I know it's always there if I need a little bit of a plumping, but yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if he's had enough conversations to know that his stock in England is still high enough for a job to come up that he would want to take. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he did an interview before Russell Martin's sacking where apparently he said he wanted to be at a team that's going to compete to win because he thinks that suits him better.
I mean, isn't that saying I prefer the job to be easy rather than hard?
100%.
Like, this is sort of like...
Rooney said something very similar and got like credit for it. It's like, oh, you understand where he's coming from. So, well, yeah, like everyone wants an easier job.
Yeah. This is sliding into Tim Sherwood territory.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily... I understand why you're saying those points. It's not necessarily an easier job. He's thinking... He's used to, I don't know, a certain standard or whatever. And some managers, we'll never know really what Pep Guardiola would be like in a relegation battle.
Sure, yeah.
All that sort of thing. So maybe...
I know what you're going to say.
Yeah.
And this was the argument about Zidane as well, wasn't it?
Yes.
You wouldn't necessarily want Zidane at a team that wasn't full of elite players because he was an elite player himself, so that's the world he understands.
We've just been saying this about Dyche with top Premier League sides.
Gerrard hasn't shown this in his managerial career, though, is he?
He has specifically a Rangers. And I think that's what he's saying. I mean...
I can do it when there's only 2 teams competing, but 3, you're having a laugh here.
Exactly, yeah. He's... Exactly. I think it's quite clear. But I mean, he is open to going back. But as we say, maybe when the magnificent Gorgie boys are not eating everybody up. I know. I think Rangers fans would be a little bit disappointed with that because the way he left the club, a bit like when Rodgers left Celtic, it was kind of like, oh, I see. As soon as a decent job in England comes about, you're off straight away.
I'll be used to that by now, haven't they?
But with Gerrard, I think that he would have had a bit of credit still in the bank, as you mentioned, and he would have been welcomed, especially after what's happened with Russell Martin.
And
probably the long-term smart thing is to keep that credit right where it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are Rangers fans going to be enthusiastic about the reports saying that Graham Potter has been sounded out?
I don't hate it, but also it's not my club.
But
you know what I mean? Like the principle is actually quite sound.
This is what we were saying with the West. This is the problem. What West Ham have.
No, but it's different, isn't it? Because
it's a write-off season for Rangers, as it was for West Ham. They're not going to get relegated.
Yeah.
So fine, you got until the rest of the season, and then it bleeds into the next season.
West Ham had a very good squad for him to work with. Yeah, fair.
So I look at that and I think,
Well, Ange might be available soon.
There you are.
Imagine that.
I cannot.
It does feel a bit Ostersund.
Has anyone done both?
Managed wise,
yeah.
I don't think so. Not for I can't. I mean, maybe many moons ago.
He'd definitely fancy it,
Yeah.
Because his big thing. Well, not his big thing.
I don't think he would.
But some of his motivation is people said I couldn't do this thing, and now I'm showing them. It would just need a few people he doesn't like to say, and you can't take the Rangers job after being a Celtic manager. It's like, I can.
Yeah. It would be.
Fucking will, man.
I always manage Rangers in my second season.
It would be very funny if he did, but I don't think he will. All right, gentlemen, coming up after this, England prepare for Latvia and Wales are world champions. Tomorrow night at 7:45, England travel to Latvia. They'll travel before that because that would be cutting it fine. But they play Latvia in Riga. And they will confirm...
They're not Man United.
Why are you having a pint at the airport? We're playing them in 3 hours.
England will confirm their qualification for the World Cup next summer if they avoid defeat in Riga. You'd back them to do it, Peter?
Yeah, you would back them to do it. I think we didn't do an easy after the Wales win, so I'd like to apologise, Marcus, the Marcus Nation.
Well, we've kind of kept our powder dry with the easy.
Yeah,
right, okay.
Easies tend to be a tournament thing, right?
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Can we have one after qualifying then?
We'll tune in and find out.
Tune in and find out.
If we give it
All
the
right.
easy.
Yeah. Nice.
Assuming England win, Peter, don't be disrespectful to Latvia. They got a point against Andorra the other day.
I know they're only turning up 45 minutes before kickoff, but you shouldn't take the piss.
Just one big stag do in Riga, isn't it? I mean, I would say that Thomas Tuchel's players may have had just their big dinners. They've been ordered to have a big dinner with their family.
Yeah.
And
so you're
they
saying
might be full. They're absolutely full.
Well, you're not worried about Latvia. You're worried about Fatvia.
Yes, I am. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't eat a big dinner in Latvia. It's all.
Okay.
It's literally their signature dish is brown peas. Ugh,
Oh.
disgusting.
Is that
Wow,
really it?
we've
I think so,
found
yeah.
your limit.
Brown peas.
Hang on, he
no,
didn't,
thank you.
He didn't say you wouldn't have any.
No, I said in the same way that I go I see something on the internet that I'm interested in.
I was about to say that's more of a Prince.
brown peas.
Just a medium serving of brown peas.
Yeah, just a medium serving, please.
Half baked beans.
I was eating dates at 6 o'clock in the morning this morning.
Dates are really nice.
Yeah, dates are really nice. Yeah.
What are you doing? Breaking fast?
I'm
What are you-
I'm re-upping.
You mean the food? It's not like a Dennis Nilsson style thing?
No.
Okay.
Just eating some fruit.
Well, England, of course, are on the brink of World Cup qualification. That's after Serbia lost 1-0 to Albania on Saturday, which prompted manager Dragan Stojkovic to resign immediately.
With
after
good cause.
full time.
They've been awful.
We don't get enough of that over here.
Yeah.
I think
A real
Keegan ruined it for
flounce,
everyone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do it in the toilet. but
Hey, Roy Hodgson fell on his sword after Iceland, did he not?
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
a great story about that I will save for Uncut.
Ooh,
Really?
nice. Okay,
Yeah.
there we go. There's a treat for
It
Wednesday.
includes having a long conversation with the person who wrote that resignation letter.
Nice.
Really?
Yeah.
That's lovely, that is.
Good Uncut
He's
stuff.
been talking to ChatGPT.
He has. That's what he's been doing.
Roy Hodgson had a Malcolm Tucker. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Not that he knew of.
yeah, exactly. That works.
I suppose, yeah.
That works.
Sounds like that's the whole story.
Yeah, a chap I know sent me a photo from a friend of his, so I understand we're slightly removed. But he said, "Oh my goodness, I'm on the same flight as Roy Hodgson."
Right.
And there was Roy, sat in the emergency exit aisle, and I thought that would be quite comforting, wouldn't it? If there was an emergency, Roy's there,
Yeah.
shepherding people
Yeah.
out the
He
exit.
wouldn't need it though, would he? He could just, as soon as it's in Sterling, just fly out.
Did he? Yeah.
True, yeah.
Did he
That's
have one of those
why.
helmets?
That's why.
Did he have one of those helmets on? Was it one of those 747s where the Sheikh takes his eagles around, his falcons?
It's exactly what it was.
Just every seat,
Yeah.
a different kind of bird.
He was eating a
Is your
little-
friend a bird as well?
Yeah, it is. No, my friend's a mouse. He was terrified. Yeah, that's right. He's in the emergency exit. Bump. Well, see you later.
See you later.
And off he flies. Anyway, England, yeah. So there's that preview. Thomas Tuchel gave his players a day off on Friday, allowing them to go shopping, spend time with the family, and as Pete had already mentioned, have a cheat meal.
Yeah, I'll get yourself a little treat meal,
What would
guys.
your cheat meal be?
I think
That's a dangerous game to play.
Well, every dinner, me and
I mean, he's cheating all the time. Imagine what he's coming up with.
me and Vish went for a business lunch on Friday and just ate crisps and beer and never
Real
got
madmen of a Christmas. Christmas? It wasn't even Christmas. Felt like Christmas.
Christmas.
Pre-Christmas,
And we never
pre-Christmas.
got any tea in the end. So
dangerous
I don't
game.
know. And then I went home and ate more crisps. I don't think there's a single sort of amazing chef that could come up with anything better than a bag of prawn cocktail crisps. I just don't.
Prawn cocktail, you dirty boy.
Delicious.
Really, it was
Dirty
Friday,
boy.
What's wrong with prawn
Best
cocktail?
crisps.
I just, especially in a pub, you get different flavours now and all. I just think people.
You never get any exotic flavours in pubs though. It's always just beef. Isn't it? Beef.
No, it depends
Thai
which pub you
sweet
go.
chili is probably
Thai
the
sweet
most.
chili,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can do.
Yeah.
Scampi fries.
Yeah, anything like that.
Chorizo, you can get chorizo
Any
flavoured crisps.
major
marvellous.
potato-based snack I'll eat.
We're going a bit Carve Solihull now. We're just
Yeah,
naming
yeah.
flavours of
Yeah.
crisps.
if you don't like prawn cocktail crisps, you can have salt and vinegar,
Yeah.
etc. But anyway, they had a cheat meal, Thomas Tuchel's men, and they deserved it. And of course, England. Now the mood has changed under Tuchel. You spoke about this after Wales, after a decent victory in that friendly game. But England have just got 5 games, including this one, until Thomas Tuchel has to name his squad for the World Cup, which seems a bit mad, doesn't it? But that's how it goes, Jim Campbell. That's how it goes.
Well, the thing is, that's very often not how it goes. That's what's so interesting about this campaign and this World Cup, because he's got such a short amount of time to fulfil his brief, and that is quite exciting.
Yeah. I mean, when we always say that, we always say it as if all the other teams have got like 15 games.
Yes.
Everyone is in the same boat, pretty much. He did say on Friday that the door is open for anyone to jump in. But
Do you jump in a door?
feels
more like a skylight.
Jump into a room, don't you?
Yeah.
You jump out of a door if it was on a
Right.
plane and Royd's just opened it.
It's like Jackass or something.
Yeah, maybe.
What am I like?
Yeah. But I mean, I you had this chat, of course, last week after the Wales game. But it is quite interesting who he's going to pick, because right now the team is playing on form, and England have got this
Chewed out.
a handful of stars who are not getting in there because of big Morgan Rogers, Jim.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, because I think he's quite, in theory, is quite far down the pecking order in that position, but he's really, really making a case.
Yeah.
But I think this is one of the things about this World Cup that's really important to think about, because of the conditions.
We send Morgan Rogers to live in North America for the next 6 months.
Why not? I mean, that's not a bad idea, actually. But Tuchel has spoken a lot, hasn't he, about getting England playing like a Premier League team. And I think everyone's like, is that going to be possible in those...
Which Premier League team?
Yeah, firstly, which Premier League team? And is that going to be possible in those conditions? But I think what he can borrow from the increasing trend we're seeing in the Premier League, and possibly across football, is that you really have to use your bench in a quite considered way that is not just, this isn't quite working, let's throw something else into it. If Jude Bellingham's tired because the sun's been beating down on him, don't be afraid to take him out. You've got these incredible options on the bench.
Taking him out is a bit strong.
Take him out of the team.
Okay.
Did you mean the burning ball of gas in the sky, or did you mean the newspaper?
Both. Why not, actually? Protect them from both.
Vish, you think England will have too much for Latvia?
Yes.
Good.
Sorry, I was just thinking about the time that I went to Latvia, and it was on my first ever stag do. Not my stag.
It's a hell of a start, that. Off to Riga.
Yeah, big one.
Yeah. I mean, I had better meals than that. I don't know what you were eating. But we knew we were in for a bad time when we looked at the hotel beforehand that the groom's brother had booked. And one of the things said, we were traveling around Europe and we knew we were staying in a bad place when we called down to ask for a spare towel, and they said it was currently being used.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh,
It's
dear.
just great.
Well,
Did
good
you get
luck.
one of those little bikes that's a bike bar?
No, did you go to Riga? Where are you talking about?
I went to
This is
Riga's quite
crazy.
stag doey, isn't it?
It is a bit
It's like
stag
a little
do,
bike
yeah.
bar.
But they've got
It's-
more than beans and bikes.
I was beans, bikes, beauty. It's a beautiful town. I went there like 2 months ago. Riga.
Oh, there you go.
It's meant to be lovely.
It is
It
beautiful.
It is. It was
At
even
certain parts of the year.
Yes. Good point.
when certain people aren't there. Now, much closer to home tonight, Northern Ireland host Germany at Windsor Park. Of course, they put Germany through their paces last time they played in September, after which Julian Nagelsmann described Northern Ireland as not brilliant to watch and said they played a lot of long balls. Get a load of you, Mr. Ideology. He tried to dig himself out of that hole on Sunday, saying that he didn't mean any offence, that Northern Ireland have a special way of playing.
Right. Special little guy.
What do you think of
Sorry,
their tactics? You slag them off. I just think they're special. Yeah, they're interesting.
Yeah, sorry, my turtleneck was on too tight.
They took a little while, didn't they, Germany? Northern Ireland had them going for a bit, but they eventually got there. But I mean, all to play for in Group A for World Cup qualification. Germany, Northern Ireland, and Slovakia all locked on 6 points. It was a big win for Northern Ireland against Slovakia. Was it last week? I don't think this is a given. Germany have not. Germany are favourites, of course they are, Jim. But going into this game, they've not been brilliant. They're not brilliant, to be more accurate. Germany at the moment. Clearly, they're the best team on paper and on field in this group.
Are you saying they're vulnerable to a special way of playing?
I think so. Do you know what? I'd love it, a proper bombardment at the box.
Yeah.
They have to get big Nick Voltemar to back their headed balls away. Hey, how'd you like it? Up you now. That would be nice. But I expect Windsor Park to be pumping for that one. Wales play Belgium tonight, of course, because of course they play Belgium.
Yeah.
That fixture seems to happen every other fixture for Wales in international football. The fate's in their own hands. Belgium only drew 0-0 with North Macedonia on Friday night. So that means in the group, Jim Campbell, Wales are third with 10 points. Belgium ahead of them on 1 point. North Macedonia top with 12. But they do have a game in hand on North Macedonia. So big chance for Craig Bellamy's men.
Well, if they win it, then it's absolutely on.
Oh, it is
they
on.
then have Liechtenstein away.
Yes.
That would mean the group would end with Wales playing current group leaders North Macedonia at home. And that could be such a huge game if they can get that into a sort of winner-takes-all situation.
What are North Macedonia up to?
Yeah, I know. It's a surprising one, isn't it, to see how well they're doing.
How are they large and in charge in this league?
I met someone from North Macedonia recently, and then they said they were from Macedonia, and I said North Macedonia. They went, "Oh, you're absolutely right, North Macedonia." I said,
So you corrected that, right? Okay,
I said,
nice.
Don't get it wrong again.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
I like to do that, Peter.
Just chat to people from foreign lands.
Yeah, exactly,
Correct them on the pronunciation of their
I
own.
said- I
I'll
saw-
ask you again,
their own
where are you
country.
from?
I spoke to someone the other day. I said, "Where are you from?" They said, "The Albion." I said, "It's England." Okay,
Right.
It
Okay, nice.
works. It can work on the local
Pangaea.
front.
We're going back to Pangaea again, aren't we?
Not anymore. You're not from there since the breakup.
Yeah.
The quite literal breakup. Jim.
A big pange.
It's
Big Pange in the hot seat.
Oh dear.
I bet Pangea made the same noise that Ange makes when he gets up from a sitting position.
A lot of cracks.
Cracking.
Yeah. A lot of ice cracking.
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Well, no matter what happens on Monday night to Wales, they are currently the world champions. Wales won the over-70s World Cup for a second year in a row.
Nice.
Come on. They won the tournament without conceding a goal, beating the US in the final 2-0. Tom Jones got both goals.
Nice.
Very good.
You had a think there, Jim.
I did have to think, is there actually someone called Tom Jones? I was like, how would he know
It might
that?
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
The USA had lots of ex-MLS players as well, like the
Cheating.
decent standard.
Right.
And this is, in the report I read about this, the party they're going to have when they get home was mentioned 3 or 4 times. And that is going to be full of proud grandchildren.
Yes.
And it's just going to be absolutely adorable.
Were they MLS players? Surely they would have been Nazzle.
Yeah, maybe they would have been actually. Yeah,
that's a good point. The match happened in Japan, where the tournament was held, and the Wales goalkeeper said it had been brilliant but very demanding week as they battled the heat, humidity, and of course time difference. So maybe they just turned up before kickoff. I don't know, but it does bode well this for the British sides ahead of next summer. We're worried about the heat and all the rest of it. Well, look at the Wales over 70s, Vish. An inspiration to us all. I think you'll agree.
Yeah. That's. I was actually going to justify that with a point, but I realised I didn't have any.
Okay.
But different part of the world, different time of year. But sure, yes.
It was a hospital ball, to be fair to you, from Marcus.
Yeah.
Got anything to say about an over 70s Wales side playing in the heat of Tokyo? No, not to be honest, Marcus. No, I hadn't prepared anything, so I think you know what the answer is.
What a sad note to end on. Thanks for listening to the Football Ramble, part of the Acast Creator Network. I'll be back tomorrow with Jim and Vish for the mailbag.
Good.
Where hopefully we'll have something to say, and we'll be talking about the future of some of England's absentees and much more. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you, Vidushin Hantharaja.
Thank you.
Thank you, Peter Donaldson.
Spazzy's from North, sorry.
Thank you, Jim Campbell.
Thank you.
And thank you, Wales over 70s. You're an inspiration to us all. The wind beneath all of our wings.